Thank you. Geraint Davis had a supplementary as well.
Yeah, can I ask Andrew Morgan, in 2019 in the general election, the Prime Minister said that Wales would get not a penny less with a transition to shared prosperity fund, suggesting the quantum would be the same and indeed that the money would be controlled in Wales. I mean, are you satisfied, firstly, that we'll get the same amount of money, and secondly, that deprivation will be properly addressed, given that there's various problems with the formula in terms of allocating the money according to the populations that have the most deprivation?
Thank you. In terms of the overall quantum, we obviously disagree with the government on this, and I've raised it recently with the Welsh Secretary, Robert Buckland. Obviously, there is a disagreement on the figures. Our view as local government is the same actually as Welsh Government, that we, over the period, we will be shortchanged to the tune of probably about £1 billion. They are taking into account legacy funds this year, next year, etc. So the quantum of funding that's being put forward, if you include legacy funds on a table, it would say it's comparative. But if we were still in the EU and we secured a new round of funding from the EU, that new funding would be in addition to legacy funds. It wouldn't be taken into account. The EU wouldn't say to us, well, you've still got £200 million worth of legacy funds to be spent, and therefore we're taking £200 million out of your new allocation. So the overall figure undoubtedly is less had we been in the EU. The yearly figure, there is ways of doing comparisons to say it's the same, but that does carry forward funding, which was previously approved. So we are in dispute on that. There is no question that we do not agree with the figures overall. In terms of working with the Welsh Government on this, it is really important. I raised this recently with the Secretary of State for Wales, that I fully understand the UK Government wants to deal with local authorities directly. The shared view of local government cross-party has been, we do think the Welsh Government should be more heavily involved. I did raise recently with Robert Buckland, I do get concerns that as the leader of WLGA, I do have good engagement, I will say, with the UK Government on this, but the Welsh Government is not in the room. The Welsh Government and UK Government have separate conversations, and I've really pressed to say that while I'm there and Councillor Rob Steward is representing as a deputy local government in Wales, we want Welsh Government in the room because we need to make sure these programmes and the investment tie up with other things. We don't want to be doing duplication, and therefore it's important the UK, Welsh and local governments work together.
Yeah. And Rob
Chair,
Stewart,
may I add in terms of what Geraint Davis has asked? Obviously, you may have seen the recent reports as well that the previous Secretary of State for Wales was quoted in the Independent Nation Should Wales Leave the UK book in saying that he had advised the previous Prime Minister not to make certain comments, and that they intended the government at the time to retain money in Wales. So I think it's not a quote that the previous Secretary of State has disowned or denied, but it's clear that there was not clarity, and there was a great degree of dishonesty, I think, in terms of how the proposal was put to the people of Wales, knowing at the time that there was no intention really for Welsh Government to continue to control the money and for decisions to be made in Wales, and that would be a function then returned to UK Government.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Geraint.